Whoa! Did it do it?
Yeah, it did it.
Okay, just making sure. I'm gonna feel really stupid if it didn't. Now I gotta watch it. I want to watch it, you guys. Hold on. Just give me a minute. Hold on. I want to see it. Whoa! Yeah, that's great. Okay. We had to make sure. There's a now you guys know how long the delay is. Welcome to the Friday Bean. We have lots of people who say that they're finally in Handmade Alpha Academy. I see lots of our new students here, so hopefully our topic today will complement what you're learning in Handmade Alpha Academy. However, for those of you who did not make our summer enrollment, I'm very, very sorry. You will have to wait another 6 months because we will not be opening again until December 1st. However, if you're interested in joining December 1st, you will need to rejoin our waiting list for your notification, for your $1,000 discount, and for our awesome bonuses. So make sure that you click the show more little thing down below, expand our section, and I've actually moved our Handmade Alpha Academy waiting list to the very bottom of that section because we're not going to need to talk about it for a while. We have 6 whole months for our current students to work through our 9 modules. So we're going to try to do some Friday Beans kind of related to some course topics. That way our current students can get a little bit of extra nudge in some of the areas that they're struggling with.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the lighting with all this stuff because we look like ghosts. I'm actually pretty tan right now.
Anyway, so our current students can get a little boost on the things that they're already learning, and for those of you who aren't students, you'll know a little bit more about what our students are learning about, but not too much, because course material is private, secret squirrel stuff. Oh, there you go. Pop that chat out so we can see it a little bit better. But in the meantime, let's see. Pet Fox Arts. Hey! Hey. Pam, yeah, I remembered. I'm assuming that you remembered to come, or you were having a previous discussion in the chat that we weren't seeing it. Pam, I saw your message earlier this morning, and I will be getting back to you. Terry, good morning, afternoon, evening. With the alphas, it's hard to tell. For us, it is noon 04. What's up, Starla and Mark, DJ and Joey? They just joined Handmade Alpha Academy as well. So we've got you guys. We've got the Crappy Crafter just joined HAA. Who else? What other HAA students did we see? I saw that there were a couple in there.
We're still learning y'all's names, so give us a little bit of
Dan is here.
Patience.
Dan's stuck at his day job. Let's see. There we go. Oh, no, wait. And Joanne. Joanne is here as well. So, hi, my first time saying hello to you both. Hello, Sarah. Sarah, Sarah, Eddie, Art, and then we have Sarah. Louise, evening, new Alpha student here.
Lots of new alphas. I think this was actually our biggest launch so far. We had the most new alphas join this time around.
That is absolutely awesome. And it's crazy when we have a large group of students come in. I feel like it's almost better on the support side of things because you guys like pack together. Now, if you joined Handmade Alpha Academy and you did not yet join our secret Facebook group, which I've emailed you the link twice, and I've sent requests for your E-rank info. So if you haven't received any emails from me, you need to email me back ASAP because you should already have full course access. We had someone last night message us and say that they didn't know where to find the course material. So if there's any reason that you don't know what you're doing or you're lost or you can't find our secret Facebook group or you don't have E-Rank Pro yet.
Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, message us. We are an open book and we're here to help you. So today, Gary joined as well. Hello, yep. Gary. All right, guys.
She's good with y'all's names. I'm awful with names, so if you're not using your name as your display name, I won't remember who you are. So yeah. I'm sorry about that, but I'm awful with remembering names.
And so. Christina, I saw what appears to be your hubby attempted to join the student campus. If you could send me an email and verify that that was your hubby, I can get him in. I actually noticed that it was several weeks ago that he made the request. and I've been needed to verify with you. I've just been too busy because we have to make a note in our system that we've brought in a spouse, which we can totally do for those of you who work with spouses who want your spouse in the Facebook group.
Just gotta let us know.
Yep. That way we know that you guys are together. So if we have like XYZ students, we don't have ZYX Facebook members and it confuses us in the long run. So happy to see so many new faces, or so happy to see so many new faces. Yes, Amber, lots of good alphas hanging out with us today. All right.
Figure out how to change it to my name. I wouldn't be too worried about it.
Don't worry about it. It's in your top right corner usually for most profiles.
No,
YouTube?
for YouTube, you have to do it through your Google. It's like a Google profile setting thing. It's a pain in the butt. If you actually want to change your name, you'll have to look up a tutorial for it because it's kind of convoluted.
I believe that you do it from your Google dashboard in the top right corner because it's all included in your suite, your G Suite, because YouTube and Google are all in the same suite. But anyways, so guys, I'm a little bit congested today. Mark,
we both are. It's allergies.
Mark pointed out that I look especially tired today. So I do want to thank everybody who commented on YouTube. I think I posted on, I can't remember what day, Saturday, about we found out that my grandma has cancer. She's the one who pretty much raised me. And it doesn't look good. She was already really frail. So if for any reason we have like a sudden break in YouTube content, Handmade Alpha Academy students, you guys will still have access to us. We will be vocal if we need to step away for a couple days, to settle things. But for YouTube subscribers, if for any reason we just kind of disappear without notice, just understand that, we probably have something major going on in our lives and we will return. We would never just disappear, but we might not send out a mass email to everyone. It might just be our students who receive that notice. So just know that if we disappear for a week, we're probably dealing with family stuff. So no sad stuff today, though. Today, we're going to be talking about defining your target market. And this is something that most of our Handmade Alpha Academy students are currently doing within HAA, though the course is self-paced. That's where most will start in Handmade Alpha Academy. So we're not going to be spilling any big Handmade Alpha Academy secrets today. HAA students, we are going to just kind of expand upon what you're learning right now. However, Handmade Alpha students, if you have questions pertaining to what we talk about today, feel free to post those in our private student campus and we can discuss further and I can go more in depth if necessary. For those of you who are not students right now, this is all just fresh info for you guys, so be sure to take notes and hopefully we can try to kill two birds with one stone here while helping students, answering their questions, and also teaching you guys some cool things about target market. So the first thing to know about a target market is that your target market is going to be your gateway to success, because what most businesses do when they create a product is they think, oh, I'm good at making this thing. I enjoy making this thing, or this is something I could make and potentially enjoy, so that's what I'm going to do, which is what I did. I did that with my skeleton key necklaces, and I really had no idea of who I was selling to. I mean, I figured that I was 19 at the time, so I figured I was selling to young people like me, maybe bookworms in college or something like that, but I never imagined that my true demographic was women ages 45 to 65 who aligned with paganism, which was not my religious affiliation. And it was very strange how that ended up working out. So let's discuss a little bit about target markets and why they're so essential and why you should define them early. Let's see. We've got a couple people in the comments.
Yeah, W. Shrey said, I didn't join it's HAA.
HAA.
As I'm kind of new to watching you guys, what venues do you sell your products on? What Etsy shop names? I heard something about skeleton keys, but then saw something about t-shirts. No, we don't sell t-shirts.
It's we did a fundraiser, but that was through Bonfire that wasn't a business thing. That was a charity thing that we did for the alphas. If you guys ever want to check out my shop, though, link is down below. All you got to do is expand the show more section. You can find I believe my website is current. I don't even think that I renewed my domain for my website because the only people who look at it are alphas just trying to snoop and see what I do. So,
Yeah.
and I don't sell things on it. It was just a landing page that said more about me. So
I also wanted to address, because we get this quite often, we get a lot of critiques talking about like how she's only made like 2 or 3 sales or 6 sales or
Etsy.
whatever on Etsy per week. We also do the HAA thing, which takes a lot more effort because there's a lot more that goes into it.
You should
let me
expand upon this a
go
little bit.
for it.
So, and this is something that it's a topic that I wouldn't say that I've been dodging, but it's something that I'm a little bit. And I'm sorry for everybody who's just here for target markets, but this is something important that you guys should know. We had a lot of people during our webinar say that they're tracking me in their competitors, which you guys are free to do on eRank. You are more than welcome to track me in your competitors. But they've been tracking me in their competitors over the last few weeks to decide if the number of sales that I make right now on Etsy align with what they want to make. And they made the conscious decision not to enroll in Handmade Alpha Academy because they noticed that I have not made a lot of sales over the last few weeks. So let me elaborate a little bit on this. That way I can explain to you guys why this is, and I can explain a little bit about how my business works. I started on Etsy when I was 19 years old, right? And I started just with no knowledge of business whatsoever. I just kind of spent a few years of my life collecting knowledge and taking in as much education as I possibly could. And by 2015, which when I talked to you guys during the webinar about Mark saying that we could go home to Ohio if I could make Etsy a sustainable income, we had 1 year to do that. We had 1 full year to get our shop to the point where we, a family of 2 and a child, could live off of that, as in paying the average Ohio housing rate, which is, very different from California at the time where we were living, significantly cheaper, like over half.
Yeah, well over half. Our house was $1,500 there, and this one's like $6,000.
Exactly.
So.
And this was also, to get us home, the being able to move from California to Ohio, secure a place. When we moved here, we had to have that assurance before we could make a leap like that, and before he could say, I'm not going to re-enlist in the military and I'm going to lose that money. So it was a lot of work. It was a year of nonstop. I was the most unpleasant that I have ever been in my entire life. And I'm pretty sure that he didn't like me very much. And assuming that we have a lot of adults in the room, our adult time that we spent, special lonely adult time, that suffered dramatically. Our marriage suffered because of it. I was not a pleasant person during that time, but I learned a lot. And I'm not saying that I did all the right things, because I think that at that young age, I say, how old were we? 25?
I don't remember.
25? I think I was 24 and you were 25.
I got out, 3 years ago?
4
years ago, so 25.
Yeah.
You would have been 24.
24. So I was 24, and I mean, imagine, for those of you who are older than 24, think back to when you were 24 and then try to compare your brain now to your brain back then. I was a very different person who had just accumulated all this knowledge, and I was still very uncertain of all of the choices that I was making, because we had been living within the confines of the United States government for so long, who provided our health care, who provided a housing allowance to us, who provided, all of these things, and a house on base, and these gates that kept us safe, where the outside world was never a threat. We didn't even lock our doors. So it was a very big mental switch, but we were able to do it. We were able to hit that point of sustainability where we could go home. And when we got home, we lived for several months, actually about six months, I believe, that your grandma was still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lived for about 6 months in this house, but we were in this room. This is the basement of this house. His grandma lived upstairs. She moved us in, that way we could house hunt. And we lived here with her, and we got on her nerves. We got on her nerves real bad. She was not used to living with a family of 3 and a young child. So she had been wanting to move anyway. And she decided that she would let us have this house and we could buy this house from her, which isn't what I necessarily wanted. He was okay with it. I don't have an attachment to this house. He grew up here. So, but we made it our own and we've turned it into our nice little nest. But going onward, we lived on my Etsy income for this time. This was the product of one whole year of full acceleration, us making our marriage suffer because of it, and me basically having to not pay nearly as much attention to my child as I wanted to. You know, as a stay-at-home mom, you feel obligated to spend time with your child, and I spent much less time with her than what I was used to, which was about the same as what an average working parent would spend with their child, but it was new to me. So when we finally moved back home, I wanted to do more for him, because after his grandmother moved out and we, you know, were here by ourselves, he wanted to find something else to do. He was in college at the time. Mm-hmm. And we should go ahead and disclose that he did get money for going to college. So that was, you know, one of the military perks, but he didn't get any like VA benefits or anything.
It's my GI Bill. I earned that crap.
Right.
I don't care.
Exactly. And that also went to school resources and things as well. So basically he picked up a tech support job working for an internet provider where he got to sit at home, but it was very hard because I had to keep our child, who was 5 at the time, we had to keep her dead silent. He had to sound like he was at a call center, and that was just so difficult. People badmouthed him all day. I could see his mindset just deteriorating after being just talked down to all day by people. So what ended up happening was I decided at the same time I was doing my YouTube videos with the start of the Handmade Alphas. If you go way back on my channel, you can see those. And these stemmed from when we were still in California. I had made 3 Etsy tutorials who got like, I think 58,000 views or something ridiculous. You can go back on my channel and watch them. They all say outdated because Etsy is not the same. Please don't take those advice from those. But my first 3 videos on this channel were tutorials. And I thought, you know what? I'm home and I'm doing really good with my jewelry. And this might be a good traffic flow for my jewelry. If I were to do a YouTube series about Etsy and teaching people how to do Etsy, and maybe they'll in turn buy from my Etsy shop. So that's how the Handmade Alphas were born, because my niche, you know, kind of, we do a lot of wolf keys and dragon keys, and I tied in the wolf theme with our logo, and I'm like, maybe we could donate to a wolf charity. That'd be cool. And I had all these ideas. What ended up happening was we had so many people who loved our channel, who loved my personality, that they wanted to get more personal. They wanted to ask questions. So he and I started doing what we called Tech Friday, where we would come on and do live streams for Tech Friday. Leave a comment if you've have been here since Tech Friday.
Tech Friday.
Tech Friday. It
ended up never being about tech whatsoever.
No.
But
So then we switched it to Q&A Friday, where we just did Q&As with no topic. Then we decided to switch to a podcast format where we had a topic, but we still called it Q&A Friday. And then as of this year, February this year, we renamed it the Friday Bean, because there are a million... The Bean. Because there are a million... Friday Q&As on YouTube, but if you search the Friday Bean, we're the only one, and it ties into branding. And I wanted to kind of prove a point that if we branded it, it would be wildly more successful, and it is.
It's true, because our average for our standard Friday Q&As was like 60 to 80 people, and now, as of right now, our concurrent viewers is about 122, and I think our max views is probably somewhere around 150. So it's literally almost doubled our view count for our Friday Beans, which is great.
Right. So we've maybe read the
No,
comments.
it's all good. I've been reading them as they've been coming in.
So what ended up happening after we did introduce, you know, Tech Friday and Friday Q&A, which that helped to suffice people for a little while, right? It helped them. They got a little bit of knowledge. We created an email list where they could join and ask us questions and email us with questions. But even that started to become taxing. It became extremely difficult. And around this time, Mark was able to quit his job. We were helping Renee Christine with a couple cool little things here and there. He was able to quit his tech service job and not have to do that because it wasn't money that we needed. It was doing more harm to him. And we were able to have him stop and start working for me full time. We're like, if you were to just put this hours into helping me and us up our key launches and help me package things, we'll do significantly better. And worst case scenario, we do the same as what you're making right now doing your tech service job. Because when we do key launches, they average between $6,000 to $10,000 on day one. That's just how our launches are. We do viral launches where we launch everything live through a Facebook Live, and we have them buy on Etsy as we release products one by one, and they all rush to buy those things, and we tie in the scarcity aspect. That's how we launch.
But that doesn't work for everyone.
Right. That's why, we won't get into the specifics of that. Maybe that'll be a thing for another time.
That's a very niche thing that we do with our products.
I want to move along quick because we've already used like half of our...
But basically, don't take the representation of our low sales on a normal time, because most of our sales take place over the course of an average of like 20 days throughout the entire year.
Yeah, well, and not only that, guys, but consider that I am still a top 1% Etsy seller. And I know that doesn't mean a lot to many people who are 1% Etsy sellers.
Year over year.
We have been a top 1% Etsy seller for, I think we're going on 4 years now. We are the top rated skeleton key necklace artist on Etsy, and there are a lot of us. There are a lot of skeleton key necklace artists. We have all 5-star reviews. We do not just sell on Etsy. When we take commissions, which we haven't been, I want to put that out there for anyone who's asked for one. We are not currently accepting commissions.
We haven't for a couple of years.
Yeah. But those all took place on PayPal. We also sold on eBay for around 5 of our 9 years in business. We did auctions for very specific one-of-a-kind pieces. When you see our sales numbers, you also have to consider how people purchase our keys. In most cases, they're buying multiples. And I hate that I have to justify this when we have
We haven't talked about it in a while, and people were starting to get kind of antsy about low sales. When people like to get angry when we're selling a course that's a $2,000 product, and it's a defense mechanism for people that either don't have the money or feel threatened because they're asked to spend this kind of money to get information they think that they should be getting for free. And I understand, we all feel that way. If we can't afford something, it makes me aggravated. Trust me, I would love to have a Lamborghini, but that's not going to be happening anytime soon.
But we'll never
But I'm
push
not
you
going to get mad at somebody else that is able to get one and start challenging what they do for a living. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not healthy for you. I don't care if you do it, but it's not healthy for you.
And the thing is, what should stand as the true testament to what I teach are the 500 students who are doing well, and those who have quit their day jobs, and those who you swear by the content that we teach, and the fact that when and this is the main thing, and the reason that we have not been making a lot of sales right now. We are in the middle of a flipping pandemic, and our suppliers are primarily in China. So we have
half of them stopped selling.
We have slow supplies coming in. We have not had a launch since November. So the items that are selling are the items that we launched months ago. We are in the middle of trying to gather supplies so we can have a launch. But I promise you, when we do, we will let you know. So all of those of you who are skeptical about what we say, when we say that when we create products, they sell out in 30 seconds, join us for our launch and watch it happen. Because if you join my Key Club Facebook group, which is linked down below, there's a skeleton key icon next to it. I made an announcement last week that we were going to be getting back into it, and we're going to start trying to work with the supplies that we already have. That single post has over 200 engagements that it collected over the span of 2 days after posting that, from people freaking out that Starla is coming back. So it's one of those things where I was very frustrated during our webinar by some of the I guess it was only one person, but it's always the one person that sticks out in the mind. For new students, you guys know about why that happens. It's the ACC sending your prediction error signals, and it is meant to feel bad and unpleasant so that you can correct an action. Which also, that's another thing, is that all of these psychology things that I teach in Handmade Alpha Academy are not things that I learned by being an Etsy seller. They're things that I've learned through studying the nature of human behavior and studying psychology, which are not things that you're going to learn through shop experience. You're going to learn that by taking things that you've learned about psychology and applying it to the shopping experience. So I hope that for those of you who are in HAA, you guys obviously know, if you're going through the content, that it is amazing, and I am positive that you are going to learn a ton. You can look to our students who are doing well. I'm sure that the replay of this is going to get a lot of hate just because we've spent 30 minutes talking about it. But
yeah, but it needed to be addressed. And it's the first Q&A after HAA, and I feel like getting rid of some of the skepticism, it will do good for us in the long run.
Right. And despite the fact that my products are stale in my shop, and my main traffic source, which is my funnel, which is what I teach in HAA, directing traffic, I'm doing minimal advertising right now on purpose because I do not want a lot of traffic in a shop that is not full. There's not a lot to see. I'm not going to continuously advertise it. And I have dedicated a majority of my time to learning the mechanics of Etsy, to learning the science of Etsy, to learning the science of human behavior and buyer psychology. Plus, I work for eRank as well. So think about your day job and how much time you would dedicate to it. Yes, don't be a nudist Buddhist.
The main takeaway is that neither of us have worked for anybody else in any capacity in over 3 years. Regardless of what is the reason for that, we haven't had to work for other people, so we clearly know what we're doing. That's the main takeaway. We'll get back to the subject at hand.
We love you guys. We're sorry that we went on that rant, but we would never push HAA on you, and we've told several people, we encourage them not to buy because of their financial situations.
And there might even be one of the, how many, I've refunded 2 people, and for just whatever circumstances. We actually refund you. We stick to our words.
Yeah, guys. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and take our shift. Replay people. I'm sorry. I know that you guys are probably mad.
Maybe at the end of it, we'll put something like skip the product rant here. Put a link in the description.
You guys don't need to. I do, though. I do need to explain myself.
Because those people do damage over time. Trust me. That's why we do a real good job at like filtering people. Like other people's audiences are real crappy. And when people start to get crappy in our audience, we just kick them out. Like if you look at our block list on YouTube, it's got, other than like the spammers, there's probably 20 or 30 people in there that aren't spam accounts. That were just crappy in the comment section. And it's
one of those things where like, you guys don't know everything that goes on in our life. Later that day, after we had that webinar where, you know, a lot of people criticized me, which it was a great webinar. I'm not saying that, but we had a couple people who were being turds. And then that day I found out that my grandma had cancer and is probably going to pass away very soon. And it took a lot.
We're real people too.
It takes, we're people. And I had a lot of people comment on the post I made on Instagram about my grandma. And they said, you know, if you need to take a day off, we understand. All the alphas understand. That's not true. I wish it was true. I wish everybody understood. But for everybody that understands, you know, there is at least one person who doesn't understand. That's Toonly. It's my new editing software.
Oh, okay. I was like, are you on Twitch?
No.
Okay.
But anyway, guys.
For real though, 30 minutes in. Let's get on to target market talk.
All right, we'll put a thing in the. All right, guys, let's talk about target markets for everybody who's just joining us.
We just spent 30 minutes telling you about who our target market isn't.
Exactly. Target markets are essential because if you do not know who you're selling to, you're going to have a very difficult time selling. So when I first started selling on Etsy, I believed that I was selling to people who were my age, 19, 20, maybe even 25-year-olds who were into reading books and watching movies about, you know, dragons and things like Lord of the Rings. And I was very wrong because like I said before, my true demographic ended up being women ages 45 to 65, and here I was 19 years old having no idea how to connect with this audience who also identified primarily as pagans, and I was not a pagan, so it was very confusing to me how I picked up this demographic. So I always describe it, and I describe it in Handmade Alpha Academy as, imagine you had two flashlights, okay? You've got a standard flashlight and you have a little red pointer laser, okay? When you have a big flashlight, yes, you are able to shine a broader light. You're able to cast a bigger net. But the overall light, the brightness of that flashlight is going to be dim, okay? When you target a very specific type of customer, it's like using the laser pointer, where yes, the point is very small, but where it hits is so intensely bright that it makes up for it. So this is about directing your focus towards a very specific type of customer. And as marketers and creators, what we tend to do is we tend to think of the product before we think of who the product is for. And that's very unfortunate, because if we were to just flip it the other way around and we had the ability to do that before we, think, oh, I'm really good at making this thing, or I enjoy making this thing, I'll make it and then I'll figure out who it's for. If we just had the ability to think of the customer first, most marketers would be significantly more successful with their brands, but that's usually just not how it works. We as handmade creators usually think of the product first, and then we decide who it's going to go to, which is what I did as well. So for our new Handmade Alpha Academy students who don't have Etsy shops yet, we did have a couple who joined with no idea of what to sell, and they have a very optimal advantage right now.
Which is,
but
it's great.
That is
best case scenario for an HAA student.
Exactly. It's best case scenario for anyone. For those of you who are watching, if you're thinking about selling on Etsy and you don't know what to sell yet, this is a great opportunity to learn, because what we want to do is create a product that solves a problem. We do not want to sell products. We want to sell solutions to problems. And this gets so many people insanely confused, because they think to themselves, what problem does a necklace solve? What problem does a bracelet solve? Earrings don't solve a problem. But doing this and thinking in this way is almost like, it's like you're trying to think of a life-saving problem or a life-saving solution, and that's not what I mean. A very real problem for a woman is that she needs to have a piece of jewelry that matches a specific shirt. Or maybe for my own products, they are so big and extravagant. And the women who buy them, a majority of my market who buys them are women who are a little bit older, and they don't necessarily want to wear a lot of makeup. They've went past that point in their lives. They aren't interested in caking on makeup. They just want to feel nice, and they want to wear something that really shines, that kind of gets rid of the need for anything else. They can wear a nice shirt and wear this big extravagant piece and not worry about putting on makeup, and it still makes them look very done up. And that is the problem that my jewelry solves. So you guys, no matter what you sell, your products solve a problem. And you have to think a little bit abstractly about it and think about the very specific type of person. Because I could say, yeah, my necklace helps you to match an outfit, or my necklace helps you to put, decorate your neck, whatever. But that's not a very creative approach. My creative approach is that my necklace helps to eliminate the need for adding a bunch of other expensive accessories or doing crazy makeup, because it is so extravagant. And that is a solution that not a lot of people may even know that they have the problem until presented the solution for the problem. And then the product tends to go more viral than if you were to just say it's a necklace, One of the great examples I have, if you go to my channel and you watch the video, I think it's titled The One Secret I Teach My Students. It is from our Bitchcraft event in Columbus, Ohio last October. And Derek from Mugs for Men, which is one of our HAA students, he had this really unique problem where he made mugs designed for men, and his brand was called Mugs for Men, But men weren't buying his mugs, and it was really confusing because he was a man too, and he was making mugs for men. But then he came to this realization that he's not in the mug making business. He's in the gift giving business, because it's not men who are buying mugs for themselves. Men don't buy mugs with cute quotes about fishing for themselves. It's the wives and the girlfriends who are buying the mugs for the men. So by identifying this target market, what Derek was able to do was cater his branding around an image of what women perceive masculinity to be, where he uses these really cute little like lumberjack characters with little, like, he's got like a little, I think he's got a little squirrel and a little guy with a plaid shirt and a little mustache. And sure, a guy who's shopping for himself might think that it's a little silly and he might not gravitate towards it. But a woman who sees it thinks it's adorable, for one. And for two, that's how she feels. When she sees a little guy in a little lumberjack shirt, she thinks, oh, that's, that's manly. That's, that is how she perceives it. It's a really abstract concept that he's been able to incorporate into his brand, but it has ultimately made his brand extremely successful. So this is the important thing about defining your target market. You don't just want to think about their age and gender, but you want to think about who are they as a person? What are their morals and values? What type of style do they naturally gravitate towards? What are the things that are important to them? And how can you use those things in your marketing so that you are creating an efficient message that really breaks through the noise? Because when it comes to business, we are exposed to, I believe, someone might want to check this for me because the number is probably updated, but I believe that we are faced with over 5,000 ads per day. Can someone verify that for me on Google and type in the chat? I believe that we're exposed to around 5,000 ads per day between, between media, social media, radio, TV advertisements, billboards, magazines, whatever it may be. Everything is an advertisement. So we, as advertisers, have to have the ability to break through the clutter and break through the noise by creating something that is meant for that person. Now, one example that I like to use is that if you were driving down a busy road and, or we'll say a long country road. Yeah, that'll make more sense. Okay. You're driving down a long country road and there's billboards, right? You guys have taken, long road trips, and there's a billboard for McDonald's, and there's a billboard for a truck stop up the road, and there's a billboard for pancakes on the left. Those will stop grabbing your attention unless you're hungry or you have to pee. You're probably not going to pay a lot of attention to those. But if you see your favorite singer or your favorite band on one of those billboards, or there's an advertisement for your favorite TV show on one of those billboards, your eyes go there.
Yep.
And you immediately look at that and you're like, hey, look, honey, look. You comment on it. Maybe you try to, hopefully if you're in the passenger seat, not driving, you try to get your phone out and take a picture, and it catches your eye because that broke through the noise. When you define your target market and you create social media ads, or even just your thumbnail photo for your Etsy listings, when you add in elements that are catered to the type of person that you would like to attract, their eyes skip over everything else and they are drawn to you. And this is actually why a lot of brands who don't have a whole lot to go off of use things like cute puppies and cute animals, because that is something that all humans naturally,
kind of universal.
Exactly. We are predisposed to look at and take care of and nurture the little thing.
Babies.
Exactly. We want to nurture the little thing.
Want to nurture the babies. It's about to zoom out on here, but I think it'll be okay.
That's all right. But because we want to nurture the little thing, brands like toilet paper companies, for example, what are they going to talk about? They're not going to talk about, butt wiping. That's not
butt wiping.
For real. A toilet paper company isn't going to advertise butt wiping. It's not
wipe my own ass.
It's not something that you want to see in marketing, even though that's what the product does. So they think of what's cute. and soft? What do we think about that's soft? And how can we not talk about butt wiping? How can we change our marketing so it's cute and we create an association with soft? Let's use puppies. Let's use babies. Let's use little bunnies and things. That is how they're able to, shift and pivot and draw attention to their brand in a really abstract way and make their message, call out to that target market. Same with cereal commercials. When we see all these annoying colors and lights and Reese's Puffs. Like, as parents, it's just, oh God, turn it off. But kids are just
noise,
colors, lights, flashing, cartoons, characters, my favorite rapper, just all of these things. And when they go through the cereal aisle, it's immediately, mommy, I want the cereal with the freaking frog on the box because I saw the commercial for it. I want the cereal that, has 50 different mail-in coupons and you eventually get the color-changing spoon. Remember when the color-changing spoon just used to come in the damn box and you didn't have to
buy it?
Send in a million things but to get it? I don't know.
Let's go ahead and zoom that back in.
But this is what targeting does. And you can't say it won't work for your business because it works for every business. Knowing the general age is important. If you don't know the age of the person that you're marketing to, then
how are you going to cater?
Exactly. If you're 75 and you're trying to make best friends bracelets for 15-year-old girls, if you don't know the lingo that 15-year-old girls are using, your advertising is going to come off really weird. And they're going to be like, oh my God, all these old people trying to sell me stuff.
You're gonna get okay boomered real hard.
And on the flip side, if you are a 20-year-old girl, we'll say, and you're trying to sell to men in suits who work for Fortune 500 companies, and you're trying to sell extravagant watches, you can't use language like, oh my God, here's a watch, you guys will love it. Like, you have to flip your brand voice to cater to the type of person that you want to sell to. And you have to know exactly who they are. You have to know, like I said, age is a huge one. You have to know what kids are into if you're selling to kids. You have to know what adults find to be attractive right now in trends when it comes to home decor and things. If you want to attract, sophisticated adults, we'll say if you're selling, some type of home decor, you have to know what the new trendy look is in high-class home decor in order to cater to these particular people. If you are trying to sell to, we'll say, we'll take an extreme here. I just went and purchased for my grandmother, who...
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Restroom.
I just went and purchased for my grandmother, who I just told you guys was just diagnosed with cancer. She just had... she had to get a colostomy bag this week. And she's really self-conscious about it. She's very embarrassed about it. So I found an Etsy seller who makes really cute and pretty, soft, patterned covers for her bags. And I read the woman's story, and her daughter has had a bag since she was like a child, and she's in her 20s now. And I connected with that story because this woman, she lives and breathes this. This is her life, is taking care of people like this. And I said to myself, this is the type of person who I know is going to create something great that my grandma's going to love, and it's going to keep my grandma more comfortable and hopefully make her feel a little bit better about this. But I actively sought out this expert who could create this product for me. So it's all about catering the product, the experience, the marketing, your brand voice, and all of the things that are going to draw the correct customers to you. Gender, age, lifestyle. This is huge. I did not realize that a majority of my market was going to be pagans, and I'm not pagan. We don't really disclose like personal religious beliefs or anything, but I do like to use this one as an example because I think it's a good teaching opportunity. I dedicated much of my time, my early stages of business, into learning more about my pagan audience. And they were aware that I wasn't pagan, and they enjoyed teaching me, and they enjoyed sending me resources, and I learned so much. And I don't create products that I necessarily, I don't advertise them as being for this niche, but I am able to say, what would my awesome witchy ladies enjoy? What is it? What would they like? And sometimes I poll them and I say, what's something that you guys would like to see me make? What is something that you guys want for, we're doing a Halloween launch. What is something that you guys would like? And we get a lot of fantastic suggestions from our ladies that, religiously wear our keys. And it's not that I had to, I'm not saying that if you are a Christian brand that you need to shift to another religion or something like that for your products just to cater to a market. That's not what this is about. It's about when you find something in your market, or you identify a trend that makes up a majority of your market, latch onto that and try to think about that particular type of person or the things that several of those people have in common, and how can you market to them? How can you create things that really call to their interests and their morals and their values? When I found out that a majority of my market was very magic and fantasy aligned, and they loved my dragons and my fairies, that was a good indication that I needed to do more magical creatures. I needed to do more dragons and fairies and unicorns in the long run. And those are still my most popular products. Anytime I can incorporate anything in that's magical related, they love it. They absolutely love it. It's helped me to name my products and give them, some cool identities. And it's helped me to package my products and make the experience better for my buyers. So, and it's helped with my slogan as well, because my slogan is carry magic everywhere. So it's just one of those things where you have to really think abstractly about how the things that you know about your target customers, or if you're developing a target customer, the things that are important to them, how can you incorporate these things into your shop marketing and branding? And while also being very aware of the fact that, and HAA students, please listen very carefully to this, because I've said it multiple times in posts in the Facebook group, in the Handmade Alpha Academy group over the last few days. I feel like a broken record for even repeating it. By defining a very specific type of customer, you are not excluding other types of customers. Despite the fact that I use very, magical, fun, just fantasy themed marketing for my keys that reflects a majority of my audience who identify as pagans, I still have lots of Christian customers. Mm-hmm. I have lots of atheist customers. I'm sure I have Buddhist customers. They're not turned off by it because it's not what I push or promote. I've aligned my marketing with a really cool lifestyle that people identify with, because I think that we all identify with the desire to live within a world that's magical, no matter what our affiliation
Absolutely.
is. We all watch Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings and say, wow, that's so cool. I wish that was real. I wish I lived in that world.
Not Harry Potter. Screw that. That world seems like it would suck.
Yeah, maybe like post...
a world where people send their kids to be tortured in a school full of wizards. That doesn't sound fun. Sounds like some sort of weird kink.
Post destroying the Horcruxes, maybe. But
yeah, right.
But either way, guys, this is the importance of defining exactly who your products are meant for, so you can cater everything that you do to them, and you're not alienating those who don't fall into it. I cater my products to women ages 45 to 65 who, identify with a Wiccan, pagan, even just, magical oriented lifestyle. But it doesn't stop men from buying my products. Nope. It doesn't stop teenagers from buying my products. It doesn't stop Christians from buying my products. I still am able to draw multiple markets, but they all enjoy the overall aesthetic that calls to a little part of their soul that secretly enjoys, picking up a fantasy book every once in a while, watching a fantasy movie every once in a while. That lives in all of us, and that is the piece of people that I want to call to. So if you make beach-themed jewelry, maybe you're trying to call to primarily people who don't live near beaches, who want to feel closer to the ocean, so they wear it. But maybe you also call to people who do live by the ocean and they just happen to want to wear your necklace surfing. Or maybe, it's someone who's never been to the ocean before and they just like seahorses or whatever. You are not dismissing other types of people. You're just making your product very obvious to the right types of people, because these are the customers who are going to come back and shop again and again. We'll probably extend like 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, no,
longer.
we're going to go over because there's quite a few questions that I liked that were popping up.
All right, so let's go ahead and start. And if you guys have questions for me, go ahead and get them in. Let's see.
People were talking quite a bit. And Samantha P, if you're still here, congrats. Having almost 4,000 sales in 4 years.
That is amazing.
A little over a fourth, probably about a third of her sales just this year alone. But she enrolled in HAA this month and already found, so many ways to improve.
That's amazing.
Love it. Hold up. It zoomed out again for some reason. I need to figure that out. Crappy Crafter, thought you were younger than 28. It's weird. Every time that we get on, occasionally we'll do goofy things where we'll get on like some of the random people chat things, and everybody thinks that we're in our early 20s.
Oh yeah, we did one night when Nate was here, we did a chat roulette thing, which obviously if you get on chat roulette, we
were just sitting down here having some drinks and chilling on chat roulette.
You know what you're going to see most of the time if you know what chat roulette is.
Yeah, don't do it if you're around children.
Yeah. But we got on and we got connected with some Russian guy living in a dumpy apartment, and he barely spoke any English, but he sat and taught Nate Russian. While he was chugging a bottle of vodka.
He literally had 5 empty bottles behind him, and he had a whole bottle of vodka just straight drinking it. And he was trying to teach us how to count to 10. That was clearly too daunting, so he switched to trying to teach us to count to 5.
It was a lot of fun. But anyway, that night we talked to a lot of people. It was just a fun thing to do when we weren't seeing obscene things. But
which was 90% of the time.
But we asked, the first thing that we asked everybody is, how old do you think that all three of us are, and how do you think we know each other? And most of the time they guessed that we were brothers and sisters, and that we were much younger than what we are. But I'm 28.
I'm 29.
You're 29.
You had to think about it, didn't you?
Yeah. I forgot, because you just turned 29.
I know. Crappy Crafter said, so it's okay if we personally don't match our target market?
Absolutely.
Y'all are our target market, and I promise most of you are nothing like us outside of the camera.
Yeah, do you guys connect with us? But do you what do we do that you don't connect with? He's in a metal band. How many of you guys...
I listen to metal that would have gotten me hung in the 30s.
Yeah, it's like witchcraft, scary voodoo creepiness.
Yeah,
what?
I listen to some brutal stuff.
And I listen to metal, but then I also listen to freaking dance music. So
I mean, I listen to some types of rap, and I also listen to EDM quite a bit. So
we listened to we got into a big techno phase and dubstep phase there for a little while.
I still listen to dubstep from time to time. Bass Nectar, any of you EDM fans out there? Bass Nectar is one of my favorites, yo. Anyway, how did you figure out your target market? How did you find out it was so different than what you expected?
Ooh, good question.
I can only answer this with so much detail because we focus on this in HAA.
No. This one, how did I personally? I can share that. So I personally, and she's in HAA. Glory just joined. So I discovered that my target market was different just by identifying where my sales were coming from. And it took me longer to realize, because I think I was in denial. I'm like, I mean, you have to consider I was 19 years old at the time, and when people in their 60s were buying my products and I was a teenager, I was like, oh, what are all these old people doing? And now 60 is not old to me. I was a teenager. Please don't judge teenage Starla. She was very immature. Imagine the things you said when you were 19. You probably are very embarrassed by who you were, hopefully. I think we've all done dumb things. But it was a stage of a denial for a while, but the more sales I made and the more that I started noticing the same things. And I know that this sounds like I'm stereotyping, but it's a very useful thing to look at. The names of your customers can often, not always, but often give you a general idea of a age group, because you see names that you don't see as frequently anymore. For example, names, there are names that you just don't see in my generation. I don't know a single Evelyn in my generation. I don't know a single, what's another name that I don't know of in our generation? Like, there are just a lot of names that you can identify if you don't have like a profile picture to tell things. And you have to consider, I've been doing this for 9 years. When I notice patterns like this, they're things that I don't like immediately. I'm not analyzing them, but I can take mental note of. When you start to see profile pictures and you start to talk to customers in conversations, and you can kind of, start to sort out, I'm buying this for my granddaughter. Okay, I can kind of give you a general age range when you say you're buying this for your granddaughter. It helps you to build a bigger profile, and you just kind of have to start taking mental notes of these things and start identifying the commonalities. And once you've done this for a while, you should be able to identify at least a few trends, whether it's primarily men or women. A general age group, even if it's very broad. Like I said, 45 to 65 is my majority, but it's not all that I sell to. But it's just what I primarily notice. The way that people talk is usually a pretty, it's a decent indication. You can usually identify the way that someone talks or their dialect a little bit. Where in the world they live. Sometimes there are names that kind of give that away. Names, living in the US, there are a lot of names that are European, alphas and Etsy shoppers have that aren't really popular here in the US. And it's not that, I say, oh, this person must be European. I can just kind of gather, oh, this person might not be from the US. And then, I can obviously verify that by looking at the order itself and seeing where it's shipping to. But it's just, and I know that these are kind of weird examples, but just start making little mental notes here and there.
Crappy crafter, but then do you have to stick to that market forever?
If it's selling, it's not that you have to, but if it's selling, why wouldn't you?
The only exception that I can personally think of is if you're selling a particular type of product that ends up becoming less of a niche and more of a norm, like how 90s clothes excuse me, 80s and 90s clothes have like made a return. Mm-hmm. So if you made something like that, you can start advertising more to the general public instead of like that one specific little niche of people. But that's very rare, and that doesn't happen for like 99% of industries, especially on Etsy.
Yeah, you don't want to, if something's working, if it's not broke, don't fix it. This is why defining your target market is really important, because this is what builds brand longevity, which is what we want. Mark and I are just now getting into essential oils, which if you guys have essential oil shops, you should put those, well, you can't comment them because it'll go away, but you should maybe like email them to us because we're exploring some essential oils right now.
Yes.
But it's not something that we normally, it's not something that we've ever really taken an interest in. And
every week.
And now we are. We're kind of getting interested in learning more about them. And when we were shopping for essential oils, we were looking for a shop that had been specializing in essential oils for a while, So it's one of those things where you want to build something that's going to build longevity and where people are going to know what you're all about. It's not a good idea to make a drastic shift unless you're deciding to change your entire business frame, because it's almost like changing the identity of your brand. Or if your personality in real life was to shift dramatically, how would people feel, If I suddenly decided to be really mean and I yelled all the time and I was just angry on the internet, you guys would be like, what? Which Starla was the real Starla? Was Nice Starla real Starla? Or is this real Starla and Nice Starla was fake Starla? You know, you guys would begin questioning who is she really? Which is the real her? And you don't want people to do that about your brand, right? You need to pick something. And if you're creating a different product line, or maybe you're creating a second Etsy shop and you want to change things up, that's perfectly fine. But once you build an audience, the thing that's going to drive you to success is being consistent in what you're doing if what you're doing works.
Neurosoup, I have 2 target markets with different types of art. It's difficult promoting to both. Women who like animals and men under 45 who are into psychedelics and visionary art. Any advice besides focusing on one of them? I will say most dudes that are into psychedelics and stuff like that also like animals, so that part, but the other way around might be a little difficult.
What is the cohesive element here? Because, I mean, what you're asking me to do is give you advice aside from focusing on one of them.
But they're 2 totally different target markets.
Those are so vastly different. If there's, and I know that this, you don't want to hear, I don't want to be the person to tell you what you don't want to hear, but I'm not going to lie to you. I can't find a cohesive element there when the way that you're describing it. Your brand might do better in the long run separating these things. But then again, if you can find, even if it's your style that is the cohesive element, that might be a thing that brings it together.
It really wouldn't be that hard with psychedelics and animals doing animal-based psychedelic visionary art.
Women who like animals is not a niche. All women like animals.
That's not true.
90% of women like animals.
Yeah.
I've never met a woman who doesn't like animals. Why aren't you able to target women who like animals who are into psychedelics and visionary art as well?
Psychedelics are like majorly on the rise all across the world.
Oh yeah, and
they've been legalized in a couple of countries, and Colorado's even thinking about legalizing them.
Exactly.
It's on the rise. It's definitely a market there.
Exactly, and we're noticing that's like one of the big rising trends in art right now. If if you're into crunching the numbers, that visionary almost, and we are big Tool fans. We actually just went and saw Tool. So
one of the best shows I've ever been to.
He's super into the abstract, just crazy, trippy artwork.
Yep.
And that is coming back. And I think that's primarily in part to 90s culture coming back. Tool is on the rise again. And 90s culture is coming back, and that style of artwork is coming back, and I can only see it getting higher because 90s is starting to peak right now. So
and a lot of medical studies are coming out showing that psychedelics are good for your health. There are people with PTSD, people with even forms of psychosis are being just straight up healed using different psychedelic stuff. So it's going to be on the rise.
And this is not
and animals are something that you can include in that, because most of the people I know that delve into psychedelics are also huge into animals. And I mean, that's kind of the thing, right?
Keeping in mind that he's in a metal band, isn't in a metal scene, and our families are all metalheads. So we've been exposed to a lot of weird Woodstocky stuff.
Yes.
Let's see.
Sorry, having to scroll through lots of comments and support.
Shayna was at our base.
Who?
Oh. She used to be at our base. Are you still there? I won't say what base, but are you still there, or did you? I thought you said you were deploying.
Okay, so Sharon, handmade jewelry for women. I've had men buy for their ladies buy for themselves, daughters buying for mothers. If I only speak to one of those, I alienate the others.
No.
Don't I? No.
That's what we just covered.
No, not at all.
No. What they're going to buy is, if you are identifying with a very specific type of woman, then if their wife or their daughter is that specific type of woman, then they're going to identify the things that align with their type of woman, their daughter, their husband, identifying, that they kind of fall into that look or that aesthetic. Usually you want to appeal to whoever has the credit card, but if it's gifts coming from all different directions, I wouldn't worry so much about that, especially if you do have women buying for themselves. As I said before, you're not alienating the other audiences. You're just targeting in most of your focus onto the person who is most likely to be holding the credit card and making the purchase.
Ginger, I seem to be creating or sewing constantly for orders and have very little time for other things like social media and researching. Do I need to do something that doesn't take so much time to put together? It's all about scalability and how much time you're able to put into your business.
Exactly. What tends to happen with handmade businesses is they hit a cap. They hit the glass ceiling where their ability to keep up is not able to compete with the need to do their marketing and their social media and things like that. At which point you only have two real options. You raise your prices to accommodate demand, which is scary, but it works.
It's scary, it works, and it's risky, but you got to make sure that your products are up to par in order to be able to increase your prices for something like that, especially if you're doing custom work. If you end up having to like severely increase the price of your products, but the quality of the product doesn't match the price, that can get you in trouble.
Right.
Or you can
hire help. Those are your two options when you hit the glass ceiling. But businesses who can't scale are businesses that cannot succeed. You have to be able to scale by either hiring help or increasing your products to, be able to keep up with demand. And the people who want your products are going to pay more for them. And this should be a celebration. You should never make it a sad thing where you announce to everybody, oh, unfortunately, we have to raise our prices. No, you need to make this a celebration. Yay! Our shop is doing so well. This week only, we're going to be keeping our normal prices. So for those who want to shop our normal prices, be sure to get in now and buy what you want, because next week we're going to be raising our prices slightly because you guys have made me so wildly successful and you guys are to thank, and I can't believe I'm able to do this lifestyle and do what I love because of you guys. Thank you. You're the best. Make a celebration out of it, and they will perceive it as a celebration, and they will celebrate with you. But as I always say, it's easier to sell one $100 product than it is to sell 100 $1 products. So don't be afraid to raise your prices. In fact, most alphas who do it actually make more money in the long run.
Tinfoil Hatter said, I've never seen Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings. Why?
You have homework this weekend.
I could forgive Harry Potter because I see like the people think it's childish or whatever, and if you decide to watch it, yes, like the first 4 movies are very childish, but that's the point. It's to get you attached to them. The last 3 movies
make you sick to your stomach.
They're like serious topic level stuff, and it's done like that on purpose. I cannot, however, give you a pass for Lord of the Rings. Because you need to go watch it. And not only do you need to go watch it, you need to watch the extended edition where each of them are over 4 hours long. Do it. Dedicate one whole day. It takes up, I think it's 14 and a half hours. You can sit down.
We did it.
And you should do it. And the extended edition is the only way to watch those movies. You miss out on so much if you don't. Sharon, do we know which is the largest demographic on Etsy?
Yes. Go on erank.com into the reports tab, go into the market report, and you can see the primary demographics for Etsy. It is mostly women, but this should not be the demographics for your shop because there are still, don't cater to Etsy's demographics. There are still, despite the fact that it's mostly women shopping on Etsy, there are still a lot of men who shop on Etsy as well. You need to find the demographic for your brand. James.
Trying to find a good video to learn eRank. There's so many of them.
I've got a bunch. I am the head of marketing and PR at eRank, James. So if you have suggestions for eRank things that you would like to learn about, comment on any of my eRank videos that I have and leave me a suggestion. I can create some tutorials for you. We are working on improving some of the help guides within eRank. When you're on your eRank dashboard, there's a green help button in the top right corner. Click that and a menu will expand out with a couple other things like a beginner's guide and a getting started guide. And there are also tooltips on every single eRank tool. It's a little orange question mark. Hover over that and it'll tell you a little bit more about how the tool works.
As we're going through this, if it seems like I skipped your question, it's probably because I did, because we already answered it. We've had the same question about stuff multiple times. So
yeah.
There will be a replay. Beth Hansen Art question: is there a way to find out average age of your existing Etsy customer? Do they have stats on that?
You know what?
She gonna find out.
I'm actually not. I want to say yes. Does somebody? Excuse me. I've got like super bad allergies. I thought for sure that we did, but I might be wrong. However, if you're making sales, you can go through and look at names. There are a lot of things that you can do there. It doesn't look like it. You know what? I don't think that you can. We are going to attempt to work on something with eRank. I can't talk about the details, but something that will help a little bit with target markets pretty soon. When I have more details on that, I'll let you guys know. Obviously, since I work with eRank, I try to, we try to do things that we know are going to help you guys and that you guys request. So as soon as I have some information on it, I'll let you know. But it doesn't look like right now there is an average age.
With the summer slowdown happening, what would your main focus be on? Inventory production?
So first of all, summer slowdown is something that happens every year. I've been on Etsy for a long time, and I've noticed that a lot of new sellers are doing the thing that happens every year around this time where they say, oh, I had a bunch of sales and they disappeared. What happened? Etsy hates me. Etsy's doing testing. No, this is the summer slowdown, and it happens every June. And if you always think every June that it's something that you've done wrong, then you're going to be disappointed every summer for the rest of your time on Etsy. Down below is my summer survival guide. It is free. There's a little palm tree emoji beside it. Hop on there, download that PDF, and that's going to help a lot. Now, the main thing that you want to do during the summer slowdown is start thinking of what your fall strategy is going to be. Use your summer to start getting a leg up on your competition before fall hits, because this is what people do. They wait until they start getting in the fall mood to start making fall products or winter or Christmas products, or get winter and Christmas and fall holiday keywords into their listings, when in reality, it takes around 3 months for Etsy to actually categorize your listings or rank them in search based on the changes that you make to your SEO. So the time to start working on your holiday products is right now. And July is when you want to start getting good keywords in there, especially for things like fall products. Fall is right around the corner, guys. You guys need to start working on these things now, because December is not when we're going to be making the sales. It's going to be November that holiday sales are going to be coming in.
That's only a couple months away.
And when it comes to fall products, it's going to be July, August, September that you're going to want to be working on, getting those in your shop and gaining traction. Do what you have to do. Turn on Christmas music while it's 90 degrees outside if you have to, but you've got to get yourself in that mood. That's the best way to prioritize your time right now.
I don't know if you covered this while I was gone. How do you determine brand voice? I'm completely lost.
You have to identify the way that people who already fall into your target market speak, and the language that they use and how it calls to them. When I have a primarily fantasy aligned audience, they like words like mystery and magic and sparkling and glittering. And, I name my keys the Astral Winds fantasy key and the Dragon of Flames fantasy key. You have to just be able to identify with that market and learn a little bit more about the things that are of value to them. And when you know about their values, it's easier to cater the way that you talk in average conversations and how you speak through your marketing. So when we talk about somebody who is very eco-friendly and eco-conscious, their morals and values are most likely, things pertaining to conservation of the earth and, creating less waste. What are the things that are valuable to them, and how can you align your marketing with that? What type of things are you going to say in your marketing? How are you going to speak to their morals and values? It's less about how you talk, because honestly, it's pretty unless you are completely different than your target market, in most cases, it's best to type like you talk. It's best to use a realistic human voice and not to sound like a robot when
You're not writing a college paper.
Exactly. Talk casually. That's what I do. And you guys love it. I talk like a person when I type things out. I try to sound as much like my real self as I can. And that's what we should ultimately do in our marketing, unless you're in one of those really weird positions where you are in your 70s and you're trying to sell to teenage girls. You might have to add in a little bit of lingo and learn a little bit more about the way that teenage girls talk. Or if you're a teenage girl selling to men in suits, you might want to learn a little bit more about how men in suits talk. But it's really about being natural and being an authentic person, and trying to add in as much of your own natural voice as possible, while still talking about the things that are very important to the type of person that you want to target. So,
YB Normal said they were in a metal band. Yeah, that's pretty dope. I dropped something. It's staying there. You like Nickelback? JK. Actually, their new album was pretty slam when they released it. I was pretty surprised.
Hating on Nickelback is nobody actually hates.
Trendy.
Nobody hates Nickelback. It's just funny to do because so many people do it. I don't hate Nickelback. Do I make fun of Nickelback? Yeah, everybody makes fun of Nickelback, but they're not a bad band. I don't have anything against Nickelback.
Monica Milton Jewelry said Slipknot, Metallica, and Motionless in White. Yeah, cool.
Motionless in White is all right.
Dannon, I'm not going to butcher your last name. Mark, what's an example of the music you listened to that would have gotten you executed in the 30s? First of all, that was a joke. Second of all, my main go-to favorites are Whitechapel, Thy Art is Murder, and Oceano. Sorry for any of you, and Lamb of God, but I'm talking about like the really gnarly stuff. More recently, bands that I've gotten into, Rings of Saturn. Sorry for those naive of you that go look them up. And Buried Alive, Berried Alive, like berries, like strawberries. If you're into metal, do me a favor, go over to his channel, just Buried Alive. Give him a like. One of his newest songs, Fuego. It's an absolute slam, and he's just a dude and his wife like us, and they make some of the heaviest metal that you can possibly listen to. So go give that a listen to. Let's see here. Should we focus more on who's actually buying or the ideal person we want to be buying? I feel like you already kind of answered that.
Maybe our customers aspire to be like these ideal customers. That is it. When someone buys your product, it's not always because they are that person already. They're trying to get one step closer to being that person. When we buy a piece, when you go into Target and you see that really pretty, like, catered home section where it just looks like a pretty, like, almost living room scene and everything matches, you're not going to buy all of those pieces. You're going to buy, like, a piece from that collection because in your head, you want your whole house to look like that. But you get one little piece of that collection because you aspire to make your home look a little bit closer to that really beautiful farmhouse, theme that they have going on, right? Same with, Mark and I buying our essential oils. I aspire to be that woman who's just so obsessed with essential oils and has all of the essential oils and just lives a whole essential oil lifestyle.
She says that like it would be different than she already does buying like thousands of dollars worth of Scentsy stuff every year.
I haven't been doing Scentsy. I've been doing Sheer Joy Scents.
And you've been doing candles. This girl likes everything with a smell. Not everything.
Either way, I aspire to live like these women who are just 100% essential oils day and night. I would love to be that person. I'm not there yet. I'm trying to get there. I'm working on it. I'm just starting. But when I see women who do this, I'm like, yeah, I could get into that. I've got 3 so far. I could get into this.
Some essential oil brands are kind of culty.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything outside of like what normal people do has a cult following to
it. Yeah, we're all kind of culty in our own way. We're like Etsy culty here. Okay. I think that's a good way to describe us, right? Etsy culty.
Let's see. I have a question. With an Etsy ads budget of like 300 USD a month and 900 USD revenue, with higher Etsy ad budget, 1K a month, I get 1.5K revenue. Any idea why the ratio gets worse the more money? So with literally everything in life, it's just a diminishing return. You can only see so much increase in profit before it becomes... before there's no reason to actually put more money into it. Like, there has to be a general interest in your product. You shouldn't rely entirely on Etsy ad revenue for your purchases. You should be focusing on off-platform advertising.
Yeah, and not only that, but it sounds like you're promoting a lot of products. When it comes to advertising, you should only be advertising your best sellers. If you're betting on winning racehorses, you're going to pick the horse that has the best track record, that is already known to win. Because if you're betting on that, it's almost a guarantee that you're going to make your money back. You don't bet on the horse that isn't already winning races.
And an ad budget of $1,000 a month, that's a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's a lot more than you should ever have to spend. $300 is still more than what most people spend, but if that's what gets you the most revenue specifically from ad stuff, if you're not doing offsite advertising, then that's pretty good. But I would still say put more time into like Facebook and whatever platform fits your products the best. Looking for questions.
Looking for questions.
I can't show my face in my shop or advertise on social media due to the nature of the products I sell. Any solution ideas?
Yeah, so if you guys notice over at eRank, we've transitioned over on erank.com. We've transitioned to cute avatars. I think that avatars are becoming an acceptable way to represent yourself when you can't show your face. And it doesn't even need to be representative of you. You could have someone create a character for you that maybe looks totally different, but you pretend to be, that character.
Have an avatar, whether or not that's you or something completely separate from you. Have an avatar that represents you.
Yeah, give them some type of human element to cling on to, or a character to cling on to, or, a persona, or even a fursona, if that's, goes along with your branding. It's creating a character or an element that someone can cling on to in a way that they can put a feeling to your personality.
How soon after your item has been clicked on might we see where the traffic has come from? I'm not entirely sure on how long. It's with most internet stuff, it's usually milliseconds.
No, I think man, that's a hard one. For Etsy, I don't think that they actually disclose that information, but if you can remind me in our HA student campus, since I know you're a student, I could ask Anthony Wolf, but he might not know either. I can try to ask him to see if he knows.
A lot of people saying that Tool's on their bucket list. Tool was probably the best show. I've seen a lot of bands live.
Insane.
They had a curtain that wrapped all the way around the stage that was see-through, and they had projectors all around the arena that was projecting what would normally be like the backdrop for a band onto the front and the back. So it created a 3D video show around them as they played. It was nuts. What are the rules on getting a third party to handmade goods for upscaling?
So depends on what you mean by third party. Anyone who helps you with your business in hand making your products have to be listed as production partners for your business within your shop. You have to disclose that you are not the only person making your products. Are they working in your home? Are you paying them as employees? Are they being outsourced as contractors? Are you hiring a company in another country to create your products for you, and they're shipping them to you, and you're selling them from your home, still under your name? There are a lot of other factors that play into this. I do not have all of the answers for you because this is not anything that I've personally ever done, and I don't know the specifics about your business, but I know that Etsy has an entire section on this. I would look into that, and if all else fails, reach out to Etsy personally and ask them, because I do know that there are shops who have been shut down just by not understanding Etsy's rules. So when in doubt, always message them to make sure that you're covering all of your grounds when it comes to production partners, unless you're partnering with something like Printful that's already within Etsy's integrations.
Please read the books first. That's general rule for everything. My branding looks feminine, and a majority of people who buy my products are female, but sometimes men will buy them products for themselves. When men buy, should I use more masculine branding? Not necessarily, no.
No, if a majority, you want to cater to the majority. And if a majority are buying your products and they're female, and that doesn't mean, I don't personally affiliate with, and I'm a female, and I don't personally affiliate with brands that have like a bunch of pink and flowers. I err on the spookier side of branding, and I kind of like the, more alternative themes. So it really just depends on the type. I wouldn't cater to man or woman. I would cater to very specific type of man, very specific type of woman, or if you don't want to target a gender, very specific type of lifestyle that could be aligned with man or woman, or, sex of choice, sex of identification, whatever, you would like to target in this scenario. It doesn't need to be gender specific, because, there are plenty of men, women, and, those who don't identify as either, who might still find your brand very attractive, but you don't want to, if what you're doing is already working, don't try to make a shift to appeal to a different majority, because the women that are buying your brand, maybe they enjoy what you're already doing. So yeah, I would say that if a majority of your products are being sold to a certain type of person, don't alienate that type of person.
Roughed Up Designs, 1st of July, UK Royal Mail are increasing postage to the USA. Life, I guess. These costs are a direct result of an increase of more than 100% in the fees of the U.S. Postal Service charges. Yeah, I can't really talk about that without getting overly political and making a few people angry. So, yeah, we understand. It sucks. It's a crappy situation. USPS keeps increasing their prices due to things. Yeah, it sucks, and I'm sorry that it's starting to affect you guys. That's what angers me the most, is when policies and things here happen and it starts to affect people in other places. Because the USPS, there's no excuse for their prices to be going up. It's because of funding that isn't being appropriated correctly.
Christina said allergies. There's an essential oil for that. I'm sure there is. Last time I took advice from alphas about what to do about my allergies, I ended up eating local honey that apparently was also allergic to, and I got sick.
Do I change only tags, or should I change also the titles for Christmas?
So this goes...
Let's make them quick, because we got to start lightning rounding these. We got a lot.
It's fine. Here's the thing. If your keywords are already working for your listings, don't change them just to cater to the holidays. Never, ever change the SEO within a listing that's already performing well, because it only takes one little mistake to make that listing not perform well anymore. However, if you are taking a listing that already isn't doing great, it could be doing better, and you want to add in some seasonal keywords, I recommend putting the seasonal keywords in both your tags and your titles. Not all keywords within your tags need to be within your title, but all keywords within your title should be in your tags, unless that keyword is already shared in your attributes, which are the drop-down menus that you fill out directly under your title. Because the words that are in your attribute are already counting as tags, words that are in your attributes do not need to be added into your tag section. For example, if the product is for a holiday and you select that the product is for Christmas, in your attributes, you do not need to add Christmas into your tags, because it is already counted as a tag within your attributes. So
Delia Jones said, what if Facebook and other social media sites don't allow your ads due to the nature of the products that you sell? Is there another option for marketing on social media sites? I'm assuming you sell adult products.
So this is kind of a really weird pivotal point. YB Normal might be a really good... Delia, did you join HAA? I think you joined HAA. YB Normal is also an 18 plus, and she has done phenomenally well and was picked up by a major media outlet. I won't specify. What I would say, for one, is that I see Facebook ads for products in 18 plus categories.
It's one of those things where their groups have rules of no reporting, but people can still report your stuff and get it taken down.
I see ads.
I see literal pornography in my Facebook feeds. It's up to the integrity of the people in the group to not report it.
But it's not groups.
Oh, no, I know. They get
ads.
through the Facebook ad thing because Facebook's filter is still crap, but they can still be reported and taken down.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
this might be an occasion where what you need to do is create your own Facebook group and start building rather than focusing, or this is why I want to do an Alphas After Dark Q&A. I want to do one for 18 plus alphas because it's so hard for us to help you guys. This is one of those occasions where I think that creating an educational group around the type of products that you sell, no matter what it is, we will use, and I'm going to try to not say anything where if you have children in the room, it could, get you in trouble, but just be aware I'm about to use some terms. We'll say that there was an Etsy shop that makes BDSM products. Maybe what you could do is create an educational group that has facts, safety, suggestions, maybe have like Kinky Friday tips where you talk about, different like ideas and things in sexual health. But you also use that group, despite the fact that it's for educational purposes and you are, creating an environment around this lifestyle, you also are able to advertise your products within this community. And you are building the community around the basis of education on a topic that is obviously very popular, but you're also able to advertise your products there safely to a market that is already accepting of your products and are already going to gravitate towards your products. Now, I don't know the specifics about your products, but I think that this will work universally for most in the 18 plus category. Alphas After Dark would be awesome. Yeah, we're
thinking about it. It's a matter that we're not subject matter experts when it comes to selling said products, and I know I just freaking zoomed out the camera again. And having enough material to really talk on that would be separate from what we already talk about here, because realistically it would just be like the same thing that we talk about here, just with bobs and things. So
with bobs,
it's kind of hard.
We were thinking about doing it, but then just I don't know, we'll curse and drink whiskey instead of coffee.
I don't drink.
Do it late at night. Yeah, he doesn't.
I don't drink anymore.
We haven't drank in forever. I cannot do ads on my platform, and I do not show nudity.
We do Kinky Friday tips.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, y'all should get together and talk a little bit. Ask some questions. I don't sell 18 plus, but I'd watch Alphas After Dark anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we'll think about it.
How about this?
We don't know what the reaction from the general audience would be, and we don't want to offend anybody. So if we did do it, it would be a private live stream that you would only be able to get to with a link.
Yeah. If you guys are interested in Alphas After Dark, maybe reply to any of the emails that I've sent you. Maybe if you got Friday Bean email today, reply to that and let us know if you sell 18 plus or if you're interested in learning about 18 plus and you're interested in Alphas After Dark. Reply to that email today for us.
Who knows? Maybe I'll throw on a banana hammock and do it.
Please don't. No, nobody wants that.
Now everybody's going to want to join.
Nobody wants that. Nobody.
My taste is about as far from metal as you can get. I really love the old music, blues and swing, like Glenn Miller. As a metal musician, I can say that blues and jazz are the foundation of a good guitar player, and I don't care who says what.
He gets all bluesy there every once in a while.
Yeah, I actually can play several Pink Floyd songs on guitar, so not a problem. And Lamb of God is a southern metal band, so all of their roots are in blues. And I usually warm up by playing the same 3 Lamb of God songs. So if you create an avatar, are you compromising on customer trust?
No.
Not necessarily, no. Obviously, if you can use your face, that's going to be better. But if you either are too self-conscious for some reason, you should at least have something representative of who you are that is as human as possible.
Yeah, and
some people, they need to be able to connect with you as a person, not necessarily just as a brand.
And we talk in, Fiona, you joined HAA, didn't you? We talk a little bit more in depth about why using your actual face is important and the psychology behind it, because there are a lot of trust elements in a smile, in the way that our eyes squint while we're smiling. Us showing our teeth is actually, we root that to a form of submission where we, in ancient humans, it was a way that we showed that we're friendly, we're unarmed. And these are still things that are hardwired into our brains. So it's one of those things that, yes, it will benefit you to be able to use your actual face. But if you can use an avatar, it's like the next best thing. It might not be 100% the same, But if you have no choice, it's better than using something like a logo that no one can connect with at all. And if you can use that character over and over again throughout your marketing so that people recognize it by seeing it frequently, that's the best way to build the association. Don't just use it as a shop photo. Use it in your marketing and use it over and over again so people get familiar with it.
Weird fact of the day, talking about like respect and showing people that you're not a threat. Does anybody here know what the origin of saluting in the military is from? I'll get a couple answers on that since that'll be at the end. We only have a couple more questions left. Do you have a blog?
Nope. I do not have a blog, and I never have. However, I did do a guest blog this week and last week for erank.com. If you guys want to learn some cool SEO stuff, go to erank.com/blog and look at the last 2 blogs.
Should you maybe dual list for the silly season Christmas, therefore leaving the original SEO'd version? Is that allowed or frowned upon?
You can dual list as long as it's within one shop. If you want to do like an A/B split test, I wouldn't recommend using the same thumbnail photo though. If you're doing the same product, maybe try to change up the thumbnail so it looks a little bit different to somebody visiting your shop so they don't feel like they're seeing the same thing over and over again. But you can A/B split test within your shop. I would just be careful and try to not do it with like 100 products. I believe Etsy's totally fine with it, but they don't want you to have 1 million products in your shop that are duplicates.
Let's see. Talking about people saying that they would watch the After Dark. We'll think about it, man. Crappy Crafter said, I just want to hear Mark uncensored. I probably still won't go full bore uncensored. I don't think y'all could handle that even in an 18 plus. Banana hammock, LOL. Yeah.
Sharon, I wish I could add comments which are pertinent. Pertinent. Sharon, we try to keep up with comments, but I know it's hard. Please don't worry about like retracting comments. I know that you try to do that. We are so used to this. I think you're the only alpha who retracts comments, though. Don't worry about it. We can usually tie it back to whatever point when we're reading it. We read them all. We just don't read them out loud.
What do you think of Nightwish's new singer? My drummer would kill me for saying this, but I don't actually listen to Nightwish. It is one of his favorite bands, but I do not necessarily listen to them. I'm in Richmond. I know of Lamb of God. I believe they're from Richmond, aren't they? Okay, so we're at the end of it. People saying that they know the origin of the handshake, not the salute. Saluting to show that you're not armed. Yes. The whole point of bringing the hand up from the belly button to the forehead is to symbolize raising the visor on a helmet in way back days. You leave your hand there to hold that up, and you're using the right hand, which for most people is the dominant hand, which is the weapon that you hold, or the hand that you hold your weapon with. So you're raising your visor with the hand that you would hold your weapon with. Yes. Please check out Ghost Love Story Nightwish. I'll check it out. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Oh, and
yeah, I answered it.
And you used to be in the military, correct? You were. I think we didn't you used to be in the military? I believe that you were. All right. I think that we did a pretty decent job here. I will put in a timestamp so people who hung out with us live, you guys got the whole thing, but replay people, I'm sure you guys.
Yeah, we'll put a link since our rant lasted for 30 minutes in the beginning. We'll put a link in the description.
Brandy, lots of duplicates listed with pictures or just in your shop saying you have 20 pieces. What?
I think they're referring to the duplicate stuff.
You can... I'm not quite sure what you're asking specifically. Oh, having 20 pieces. What they were asking was if they want to test SEO, like say that you have a blue bracelet, but then you want to add like blue bracelet, Christmas stocking stuffer, and you don't want to risk compromising this listing that's doing well for your blue bracelet because you don't want to mess up your SEO for your blue bracelet, and you don't want to add anything about a stocking stuffer into that listing and risk compromising it. You could do your stocking stuffer listing for the same bracelet separately, assuming that you have, multiple bracelets or you deactivate the other one if, this one sells. But listing blue bracelet, with your holiday keywords separately to do an A/B split test so you can compare which one's doing better. That is okay. What I would recommend though is changing the thumbnail photo. That way customers coming into your shop aren't seeing the same exact photo and thinking to themselves, wow, this person's just listing the same product over and over again. If you can change up that thumbnail a little bit, it's going to give a better overall shot perception. So,
and that is it. Ayana said to Air Force. Awesome.
Do a split video. The first part needs to be heard. I can't. You can't split up the live stream.
No.
I can't make it into 2 videos.
And we're not currently recording the live streams because that's just too much freaking hard drive space.
YouTube does it for us.
Yup, and that is it.
It was a beautiful rant. It was healthy to get off your chest. I've had an emotional week. I'm like all congested. I keep saying it's allergies, but in reality, I boohooed for a long time
Sally,
last night.
yes, we call them stocking stuffers for most people. I don't know if it's different for anybody else. You can leave a comment letting us know if it's stocking stuffers or stocking fillers for you. But for most of us, we call them stocking stuffers.
I've never heard stocking fillers. I've never heard that term. Stocking stuffers. It's an alliteration. It's fun. Stocking stuffer.
Yes. All right. I guess we're pretty much done. If you guys aren't subscribed already, be sure to hit the little subscribe button down below. Click the bell icon if you haven't already to be notified anytime we upload a video or anytime that we go live. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs up and go away.
There are 157 of you here, and there are 36 likes on this video. If you enjoyed our time, you don't have to give us your money. You don't even have to say nice things to us. But what we do like is when you hit the thumbs up button, because it lets us know that we did
If we can
a good
get
job.
it to 100 likes by the time I hit end, I will eat a banana.
We don't have bananas.
I'll go buy one. After the video. They don't need to see it.
Maybe they want to.
Maybe I need potassium and I need the encouragement to go eat a banana.
Have a great weekend, guys. We hope that you enjoyed this live stream. There's freebies down below. All right, guys. Goodbye.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.